It's Dr. Yvette Maureen here, and in line with manifesting healthy, purpose-driven, God-focused relationships, I invite you to get into my new series. I had the pleasure of sitting down with 4 dynamic couples for Season 1 of the Prayer Life Devotional Expressions series. So in your relationship of however many years, but marriage of 9 years, what are you most grateful for? And I'd imagine there are a lot of things that you're grateful for.
Yes.
But what are you most grateful for?
So can I speak? Can I talk this one?
Go ahead.
Okay. But you may have something, I don't know, but.
I want to, yes. I'm
okay,
sure
mine
you
is
have
kind of
something.
controversial, I want to say, because my husband pays attention to me. And being that I'm coming from like an independent world, sometimes that paying attention can be like overwhelming. I am extremely grateful, however, that he pays that much attention to me, right? Because I know it could be the other way. I have checked in with friends and they don't know where their husband is.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows what one is doing. And I'm thinking, whoa, do you really want it that way? And I don't want it that way. So I'm so grateful that my husband is very attentive to me. Just I have to be grateful for that. If he's not attentive to me, he's attentive to something else, whether it's playing a game, whether it's hanging out with the boys, but all of us are attentive to things, and I'm thankful that he's attentive to me. You like that, babe?
No, of course.
Okay.
He's like, I'm just over here being attentive at the moment.
And I think she's very attentive in the same way. Things that I give her, she gives back to me. So, you know.
So it feels balanced.
Yeah, it's balanced, very balanced. Yeah, thank you.
Very good. All right, so you just talked about how grateful you are for each other and being attentive after 9 years of marriage. What are your proudest moments together?
Proudest moments would be we became grandparents. You know, we wasn't ready for it, but we were grandparents.
I was ready for it.
At least, yeah, I wasn't ready.
She was ready, you were not ready.
Yeah, our oldest daughter became a mother, and also
we became foster parents. Yes.
Foster parents.
Foster parents to Wayne. You didn't see that on social media. It was like one of our intimate, private moments. Wayne was 5 months old. He was born to a drug-addicted mother. He had one foster parent who pretty much saved his life. But when we were his second foster parent, she was just pretty much, she had a lot of children. And we took in Wayne and changed his life completely. Just pretty much got him ready to go back to his natural parents. And that was hard for us.
So he returned back home.
He returned back home. We had him for a couple of months. But we knew that we made an impact on Wayne's life. I'll probably look him up on social media years from now. But that was a very proud moment. And for me, the other one was just becoming business owners together. When I met my husband, he was an entrepreneur. I was thankful for that because I've always been this, professor. So someone always paid me. And so just to see how hard he worked, to know that I had a Black man who owned his own business, give me a break. Amen. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So, and then he taught me how to be that entrepreneur. And so for us to bring those two together, and it works well for us, I'm very thankful. And so with that proudest moment being the entrepreneur and also keeping the balance in the marriage, is very proud. Anymore, babe? Do we? Oh, no. Getting a house, maybe?
Yeah, buying a home together.
So both of us have our own homes, before we met. So just shopping for our first home together, that was really nice.
Now, when you're buying a home, that could be really stressful. That's a stressful time.
Yes. Yeah. And he wanted it a certain way. Like he only wanted a 1-story, and if it was a 2-story, it had to be a certain model. I'm like, really?
So you're the picky one.
Yes, that is true.
That's long term.
That was the test
term,
right there. That was the
Yes.
test. Well, I think you made a good point. Just, I didn't know that you all were foster parents at any point. That did not make the gram, it did not make Facebook, and it was personal. That was for the family to know, and for those who did know, they knew about that. And so I think that's another component of like keeping what's personal and intimate between the two of you all and your family, keeping that safe and protecting it, and not sharing it with the world. Well, now we're sharing it with the world.
Yes.
But at the time you didn't.
Right.
When the time is right, then now we know. So thank you for that. I'm going to ask you one last question, and then we'll read some prayers. You've prayed for Jonathan.
Yes.
You've mentioned that. And Jonathan, you said God spoke to you about
Yes.
Antoinette.
Yes.
How have you seen your prayers show up in each other's lives?
Well, for me, I think the trickiest part, so now we're married, right? I got exactly the person that God brought in my life. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I was mad at God, be like, wait a minute, So here it is now. When I think an immature prayer for me was, fix this, God, in him, fix this in him, fix this, da 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 da.
Yeah, I think we both did that.
And then so when God was like, wait a minute, you think you're perfect now that you got your man? Like, chill out. I mean, literally. Mm-hmm. So he said, you're spending so much time fine-tuning him, but I didn't put you two together for him to change. I put you two together for you to be challenged in areas you need to grow in.
Say that again, people. Say that again. I didn't put you two together for him to change.
Yes.
But for you two to be challenged
in areas you need to be changed. And then it dawned on me, like, God doesn't match up perfect people. Because if he matched up perfect people, he's telling both of those perfect people, you're fine, stay as you are. And I'm going to put two people who look alike together, mm-hmm. right? And then nobody has to change because you love each other just like you. I'm looking at myself, right? So, but to me, my wisdom came in where he can bring opposites together. And so when you're praying for that opposite to change so that it can be easier for you, it's the wrong prayer. I mean, that's just what I determined and what God spoke to me. So here it is, I'm praying for my husband, but then God said, God listened to me for a while. He entertained me, right? Mm-hmm. He was like, somehow you're gonna have to grow in this area.
Right.
And he knew enough about me that I would figure that part out. And so when I humbled myself even more, and I said, wait a minute, God, you're not fixing anything. I just prayed about this last month. I just prayed about this last year. Mm-hmm. And I know God is not quiet on me.
Yeah.
But so when he's quiet, I'm like, whoa, what are you missing? And so the piece that I was missing is, honey, you need to pray for you. If your husband, if you feel like your husband is out of order, what is your role as his partner? Right? Mm-hmm. If your husband has a certain tone, what is your order as his partner? Mm-hmm. What can you do? What about you, babe? I'm sorry, that was a long one, but...
Yeah, pretty much everything you just said. I mean, there's a lot of things that, I wanted to change about you, but, I hit my head against the wall many times trying to change that, but now I just learned to, accept you as you are, and those things that, I can't change, I try to, fix myself in those areas to make our lives easier.
Yes, and I didn't realize he had done it as well, but for me, what I see is once I got to that revelation, once I started in the practice of changing me, I saw God started answering my prayers. Mm-hmm. So to me, that's the key. So even if I trip up every now and then, which I don't think I do, like I don't really necessarily pray, I pray to cover him when he goes into the world. But when it comes to our relationship, I ask God to, help me figure this out versus praying about something he needs to change.
I think that's a good word, covering. So you're covering him when he's away from you, but also covering him in the home, right? So that your family is protected.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Smiths, Jonathan and Antoinette Smith, for being here. Is there anything you want to say and leave for, I'm going to say for the individuals who, they're not married yet, but they're looking to be married and they aspire to be a godly spouse and marry a godly spouse?
Yes. I want to be able to say that marriage is not easy. So we've covered some, good questions here. But I think sometimes single women and men can look at social media and they can look at other couples and they can think, I want my marriage to be that way. So first of all, no marriage is the same. Second of all, no man is the same. And third, you want to cleanse yourself of any preconceived notions that you have about marriage, that your expectations on marriage, your expectations on a man. And I absolutely hate checklists. Who's throwing a checklist to you? Is somebody throwing a checklist and saying, check, check, check? I mean, who wants to live under that?
Yeah.
Right? So I would tell single people to do away with your checklist. Do away with your expectations. And I know it sounds kind of weird, so everybody should have expectations. But you have them before you meet your man. You have them before you grow together. You have your expectations before. You don't even know how he grew up in the world.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing about him.
Yeah, the work is just beginning once you get married.
Yeah.
The work is just beginning.
And it's tougher to stay together than it is to break
Get
up.
together. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's tougher to stay together than it is to break up. Okay.
Yes, it's easier to break up than it is to stay together. So
Yes.
it's a lot of work, a lot of hard work.
But
it's it's worth it. It's worthwhile.
It's worth it. And just how you heard my husband speak then, he is the solid person in our marriage. He is someone that I don't care what I did, when I do it, how I do it, he's going to be the person that says, this marriage is number one. And I find that so precious to have in a man. Because I think when he first met me, I was like, I'm not dealing with this, because God was still working with me. I'm not that person anymore. But he was just like, hold up.
Yeah.
We had vows. We are married. And you need to understand what it means to be married. And so here it is. I have a grown
man.
A grown man teaching a doctor, right? Is what that word doctor, how to be committed. And because you hear, society tells you the woman is that way, but my man is that way, and I am so thankful. So believe me, Dr. Yvette, if anything happened to me, if I lose a leg, a limb, or anything, if I lose my mind, if my beauty goes away, if my shape goes away, this man is solid in my life. And I think that every woman needs that. Did I pray for that to happen? No, but God He knew I needed that. So thank you. So I'm thankful for that. And so that's what I want, to answer your question, how people should think about it all. Remove the surface person out of your life, remove the surface thoughts out of your life, and just know that God has the answer for everything you need.
Yes.
Very good. Thank you all for being
you.
here. The couple's stories are meant to inspire and spark dialogue on how faith bonds our romantic relationships. We engage in open, candid discussions on boundaries, love, faith, prayer in marriage, the importance of true friendship, commitment, and what women and men really want from a significant other. We laughed, cried, and then it got real as we talked through what it takes to ride the highs and lows of a Christ-centered marriage.